Volode, Miss World Australia. She's going to have a few words to the group. Please. Yes, the lectern.
Thank you for the invitation here today. I'm very honoured. Some years ago, or several years ago, I was involved with a traumatic incident on a plane overseas on my way from Azerbaijan to Doha. So I can somewhat relate to the helplessness and fear and anxiety experienced by the veterans who come back from overseas. I endeavour to use my education and experience to facilitate beauty with a purpose, and part of my contribution is to play a role in eliminating prejudices and categories and encourage unity and inclusion. I feel this is also our social responsibility, and part of this responsibility can be exercised in creating a focus on removing the feeling of pressure of PTSD victims from being ostracised for their involuntary struggle. When I had experienced my trauma, I was put in a hotel room for 13 hours away from home, and I still had another 13 hours to fly back home. This isolation, being alone, without support or really realising the condition I was in, created that anxiety and fear and made me realise how important it is for people to be around us and support us through these conditions. This is a situation, and this is a heartbreaking one. One's entire worldview shatters. The rational and irrational meet and create a constant, exhausting battle between two opposing mindsets. Seeking help can be difficult due to the feeling of being misunderstood and being skeptical of recovery or your unworthiness of recovery. I am adamant that the external and internal stigma around PTSD needs to be removed and counteracted by creating accepting, compassionate, patient, supportive and understanding environments to reignite hope, meaning and connection in the lives of sufferers with a strong focus on empathy, unity and integration. I call this the creation of a humanised environment. The awareness will help us recognise the condition and apply a greater urgency to develop strategies and effective coping mechanisms for those who return. Having PTSD and experiencing its symptoms does not remove one's meaning, it removes the connection to it. A focus on helping to bring this connection back is key, and we can do this by facilitating an environment in which veterans can do that when they come home. The contribution of the experience itself is not to be underestimated, as sufferers can help empower other sufferers in sharing their experiences and stories. If they can find an almost replicative comfort to do this with the broader community, and I think this is very much needed, I believe it would allow the facilitation of effective communication needed with external resources such as organisations and counsellors to help minimise the negative impact of trauma and develop effective strategies. We should feel understood and accepted regardless of our differences, so long as we are on the path to good. The internal isolation the sufferer or experiencer feels should not be represented externally in our environment. We are not our conditions, and we are not what we think. We are what we do. And if our environment is structured in that way that can help veterans and those with PTSD feel comfortable enough to reintegrate and do more to prevent them from retreating into the darker spaces of the mind nurtured by PTSD. It's important to remember that PTSD does not take away the positive attributes of a person. It masks it. We each have a part of our character that has a strength, and PTSD does not remove this character, so we must focus on creating opportunity for them to bring it out. Everyone has something to give, and there always exists strengths in the individual, no matter how big or small, and where on the spectrum of capabilities we lie. And we have to create this environment. If you are one of those supporting a loved one with PTSD, know that your hug may not be felt or processed the same way, but it is not unappreciated or forgotten as a gesture of belief and hope. To those out there who are currently fighting this battle, the function of your mind and body may have changed, but your value remains the same. PTSD is not a weakness, There is a strength that comes from the person you become or are becoming from the condition. It is not about going back to who you were, but changing into the stronger person that you will be. Water the garden of your strength, and with enough rain and enough time, have faith that you can blossom into a beautiful representation of strength and join my